they still gotta play us. Let's go, baby. Woo!
Don't run that ball on the one Hubbard, showed you how that go down. Feeling like Santino, tell him we want all the smoke now. We ain't snooping that commercial, we don't put no smoke down. Plus we back and you can't hide, so it ain't nowhere safe to go now. We always gon' turn up in that jungle every time. How we ain't gon' win when we loaded in with 9? Plus T just came in signed, so the city gon' be fine. Jamar say he open every time and he ain't never lied. Look at how we win at it, the size of the old line. Giving Burrow extra time should be a federal crime. Hey, we right back on that path again. Put the division back to the test, they won't pass again. Orlando and Trent Brown, that's the Tower Twins. Feel like we only getting better as we stacking wins.
And we stacking.
Jaceki in for 6, that's a gritty again. AFC North battles getting gritty again. It's Yoshi's second year and we just brought Burton in. Vaughn back to ring some bells, get the cracking again.
Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to the show. This is Sports with Strawberry Ice. I'm your host, Iceman Jeff Trunipole. And as always, I bring you sports from a West Side point of view right here in the great city of Cincinnati, Ohio, home of my new tailgate. We're going to be there live each and every Bengals home game during the regular season. We're not doing any preseason games, but during the regular season games, week 1, we'll be live at the Moreland Lager House. I promise you there are details coming soon. But you will get access to delicious Moreland food, delicious Moreland beer, access to their bourbon room. It's going to be awesome. There's going to be some former Bengal players there. It's going to be a great, great time. I'll be there. Bengals captain will be there. Hey, Corey Dillon probably going to show up a couple times. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Also, we'll be doing a live show there each and every Tuesday nights. This show, which actually today, just to let you know, Corey's not able to join and Cap is at the Reds game. So I got the Godfather coming on with me. But on Tuesday nights, we'll be doing our normal Monday show. Will be on Tuesdays with Cap and Corey. It's going to be a great time. Again, check out Moreland Lager House for between now and then. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you have not checked out Midwest's Best Barbecue, I ask you the same question every day. Why the hell not? They are delicious. Get you some CTB wings, some Uno wings, the newest Dillinator wings. They are unbelievable. Go tell Tim and Nicole I sent you. Again, it's Midwest's Best Barbecue. Right out there off 275 Ward's Corner Avenue exit. You can see it right there. And if you guys are looking for any windows and doors, please do me a favor. Check out Meyer Windows and Doors at www.meyercincinnati.com for all your windows and doors needs. I have them in my house. I highly recommend you get them in your house. Again, that's Meyer Window and Doors. And my West Side piece, go ahead and check out Hail Mary's, your ticket to the game. If you're looking to watch some sporting events, I recommend them. They have big-ass TV screen, free parking, beer specials, food trucks. It's an awesome, awesome place right there in the middle of Cheviot. Again, it's Hail Mary's, your ticket to the game. All right, everybody. Apparently that I'm having problems streaming on Twitter. So if you are trying to find this on Twitter, you can't. It's not on there right now. That's what took me so long to actually get the show started. They kept telling me that I had an error. I'm like, for what? So it's not letting Twitter go. But anyway, we're live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. But what's up to everybody in the chat? We got Stranger and Dalton's in there. Paul Painter's in there. Brad's in there. Rocket Bengal. Robert. Pork Chop. He's just here for the nachos. I didn't know he had nachos. Smash Adams. Tony Blazin. Brad. Dustin already said you. Yeah. My mic is a little low, and I'm at 100%. And Pork Chop said, Twitter don't stream anymore unless you like the platform status. Seriously, when did this happen? Because I just did this Friday. It was fine. So thanks for the heads up there, Chop. I did not know that. So anyway, all right, guys, let's get to this thing. We had news today. Amaris Mims is out for a couple weeks for a strained pectoral. Now, I know people are freaking out like, oh, my goodness, why can't we have any good things? Why is this happening? Yada, yada, yada. It's a strained pec. It's not the end of the world. They called it in time. We got Trent Brown for a reason. You know, he was supposed to be our starting right tackle anyway. So you plug and play him in there. Also, Zach said that he's not ruling out Mims being ready for week 1. Now, with him missing several weeks, Which who knows how many several? Several could be 2 weeks. It could be 4 weeks. It could be a month. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how he comes back. But that's like I said. This is what's good about what the Bengals did do. They signed Trent Brown. They drafted Mims. I'm not concerned about it. I mean, Mims I thought looked really good in the preseason. So yeah, Augie, you're not worried. I'm not worried either. So that's just something to. I mean, some people, like I said, some people freaked out about it. I didn't think I was that bad. All right, Anthony Cosenza will be joining us here lately. Like I said, Cap is at the Reds game for Bark in the Park. So I don't know if he's going to be able to join. He might be trying. And like I said, Corey is out of town doing something. I don't know what Corey's doing. But Saturday night, I didn't save the whole game. I saw the first drive, and I went down and visited my boys down on 158. And I took off after that because, for some of you may or may not know, our family cat passed away. Actually, she made it through the night Saturday night, but she passed away on Sunday. So shout out to Mr. Meow Meow. If you guys don't know who he is, go follow him on Twitter. He's a great dude who has taken care of our family. Like I said, we just lost our dog. At the beginning of the year, my wife lost her mother. So it's been a lot of loss this year. So shout out to Adam, Mr. Meow Meow. Go follow him on Twitter. He's an awesome dude. If you guys ever have any issues with an animal passing away or anything like that, I highly, highly recommend pause and remember. I think that's the name of it. I probably just messed that all up. But anyway, I highly recommend that. Go follow Mr. Meow Meow. But he is in the waiting room. He is the original gangster. The OG. It's the Godfather. It's Anthony Cosenza. What's up, AC?
What's going on, man?
I was gonna say like Anthony Cosenza. It just comes.
You know what? It's actually pretty funny that I saw a picture recently of Marlon Brando when he was getting ready to be in The Godfather, to play the part of Vito Corleone, and they didn't really know, they put stuff in his mouth and aged him and all kinds of stuff. And so it always makes me think of you, because you are the only one kind enough to call me The Godfather. Unless other people do and I don't know it, but
I think other people call you that, but I think I'm the originator of it. But
you are the OG. You're the Godfather of calling me The Godfather. How about that?
Godfather of calling you the Godfather. I'll take it. Anyway, so people are starting to kind of freak out a little bit here about Mims. What's your thought? I mean, I don't think it's. I mean, it's not good, but I'm not freaking out about it. We got Trent Brown. It's a sprained pec. It's not torn. You know, I mean, Zach said he's not rolling out week one. I mean, I doubt he's going to start week one, but what's your thoughts on the whole thing?
Well, it sounds like that's the target for him to be ready week one and just rest that thing up. I mean, for those who have had injuries like this, I mean, what you got to do, unfortunately, it's rest and ice and heat. And it's just, if you come back too early, all it does is just come back and again and again and again. And yeah, exactly. You could hurt it worse. So it's going to be a lot of rest. There are things that worry me, and there are things that do not worry me about this. I'll start with the negatives first to get those out of the way. Number one, the wording of what Zach Taylor said brought me immediately back to Marvin Lewis and how he described injuries, where it's a few, but not many. Yeah, and then, it's like, oh my God, we're going back in time here. So that, and it's very vague, like you said. So that kind of worries me a little bit. But I think if it was doom and gloom, that would be sensed pretty, I mean, we would know what's going on there. And, the other thing with it is that, he started to get some momentum in terms of how he was looking in practice and all of that. And so, and in the game. And so you just go, man, this is unfortunate that this is happening when it happened. But on the positive side, look, he's been working all throughout the spring and summer up to this point. So it's not like he was holding out or he wasn't available. He had an injury earlier and wasn't in spring workouts. So he was around the team and getting snaps and that sort of thing. He played in the preseason game. So, I mean, there's a lot of things there. And then, of course, the fallback option you have is a pretty dang good one in Trent Brown. Right. As long as he stays healthy, maintains the weight and everything there. So obviously not ideal, but I don't think it's doom and gloom either. So I think it's just one of those unfortunate things, and he's just got to rest it and be ready for the early part of the season.
Now, I don't agree with this. I think he was going to, but Chop says Mims wasn't starting week 1 anyway. Tell him, AC. I'm like, dude, I think Trent was got to do an awful lot of really good stuff, or Mims has to get hurt. I think Mims is going to start, but
yeah, I waver on this one too. I think he was starting to show a lot of stuff that was good enough potentially to start the season, but I think they were going to try and give Trent Brown the opportunity to be the starter and just kind of have that veteran presence along that line and continue to bring Mims along. Again, I've been telling my co-host John Sheeran that the thing that impresses me the most about Mims is that entire package of athleticism and size and strength and all that kind of stuff, but he makes it look easy. He makes it look so easy. And it's like, man, this guy's a rookie who didn't play a ton last year in college. The big program and the overall skill set just makes it look so easy for him. But again, if you're talking about starting him right early in the season here, you are talking about him potentially going up against, if he's your day one starter right away, you got to be pretty confident because you're talking about the Watts and the Garretts and, right. all of those players down the road here. So I think the Bengals still have a good problem in two capable tackles, probably pretty good tackles. And so Trent Brown now needs to get in game shape and stay healthy, obviously.
That's the thing, dude, is me and Richard Skinner were kind of talking about that on Friday's show. Trent Brown really isn't, he's in a shape. It's called round. He's not really in game shape. So, that was kind of concerning for me. It's like, all right, you normally come in. Guys used to work themselves into shape. That's what training camp is for. But yeah, I don't know. That to me was a little alarming. That you came in and you're a little overweight and everything. I'm like, But I mean, we're gonna have. I'm not trying to dog on the guy or anything, but I've just been so impressed with Mims and not as impressed with Brown. I mean, today he was out there with the ones, which is the first time he's been out there with the ones, I think. So he's only been back in training camp, a week, 2 weeks, maybe, something like that.
Yeah. Look, I'm cautious about this whole thing at right tackle. The Bengals just haven't had long-term solutions. It seems like they found one in Mims with a stopgap this year. But they're, unfortunately, while there are, as I mentioned, there are two good options, there are also some questions and concerns about those two good options as well, be it health, be it limited snaps and all of that. So
that's the thing. That's the thing. I mean, honestly, we're fine either way. I mean, honestly, if either one of them starts, I think we're going to be fine at right tackle. And this is the best case scenario we've had at right tackle since Burrow's been here. I mean, honestly. So it's our offensive line is, I think, in the best shape it's been. I still would like them to add some depth pieces. Like now, I got this argument, and Jackson Carman did not help me out at all. I think Jackson Carman, last week I thought Jackson Carman was going to stay. After that performance, they might be looking for somebody now to replace him. I mean, 3 false starts and a
hold that negated a completion, I think.
Yeah. A hold, I mean, geez, that's horrible.
You wish that this would not be the career trajectory from this guy, but unfortunately, the warning signs were there pretty early, right? And this was a guy that they fell in love with in the draft process. They thought they can bring him up. He was really young when they drafted him, right? So they thought, another guy that they could give time. They moved him around to different spots on the line. There were a couple of games where you go, hey, there it is, and then the rest of it has been either meh or worse. And unfortunately, I think that was probably the worst showing I've seen from him. I mean, it just. And here's the thing. What'd you say? 3 false starts, right? Issue, at least 2, I think. My issue with that is that it's at home, right? I mean, I get.
He's going to get some 2s. I mean,
if that, right?
If that, right?
And if you are, and I understand the element of, hey, you're playing with different quarterbacks in practice as a backup player. You got some moving parts on your unit, so there's not going to be a ton of cohesion built already. especially in preseason game 1. But I mean, man, oh man, when that is an issue at home, that's poor discipline, I feel like, or poor communication along the line, not necessarily just on Carmen, right? So
Mike's got it right here. It's 3 holes to 1 false start. My bad.
Okay. So regardless,
I said
okay.
the opposite way. Yeah, 3 holes to 1.
Yeah, I couldn't remember offhand, quite honestly. I was typing during, so I was kind of watching type. But yeah, I mean, regardless, the false start thing at home, that's what drives me nuts, right? I mean, your home crowd's behind you, meaning they don't make a lot of noise for you, so there should be ample quiet for you to, but yeah, the holds there, that's obviously, that's technique and issues there, and we've unfortunately seen that from him too.
Yeah, now the thing is, like I was having an argument with Joe on here that I don't think they have anybody, but I still don't think they have anybody better than him on the roster, to be honest. I just think they might be scouring a little more. That was just very, very alarming. Because I mean, we're just going to talk about this Friday that Jackson was going to be on the roster despite himself, So, and with that performance, I know it's game 1, but still, like you said, it's game 1. It's at home. That was just alarming to me. It was
alarming, but I think they're gonna give him the chance to remedy it, right?
That's the problem, AC, is they don't have anybody else. It's kind of what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to give him the chance to remedy the situation there, and if it just keeps pace or worse, then they'll probably cut ties, and then maybe that's a spot where they scour the waiver wire, at the very end of final cuts and everything. But even that, we know what a hot commodity offensive linemen are, especially ones that could even potentially spot start. So I don't, what kind of talent might you be getting out there in lieu of him? I don't know. Again, this is a guy that the team likes. They think to some degree, and they think that they can still mine something out of him. But not a great first preseason game for him.
Now, who did have a good preseason game? Me were talking about this last time you were on the show with us, and Pork Chop was here. Was Andre Yoshivas. And I said this back then. I think he's going to be the third wide receiver. And I know Pork Chop went off on me and said I was crazy and said Burton was going to be. Well, according to Richard Skinner, and I've noticed this too, that Burton has not been in the slot. Either he can't get it down. There's nothing wrong with that. There's a lot to take when you're a rookie, in the first year of learning stuff. And just goes to show what he did Saturday night. Everything was go route. It wasn't anything too complicated for him. And Yoshivas is in there for the first couple series, and he was out. So to me, that I'm not saying it's locked up, but with Charlie Jones hurt, with whatever's going on with his knee, and Burton kind of not. I guess they're backing away from him as much as the slot goes, and Yoshi is playing the slot. He's playing outside. I think it's pretty. I'm going to say it's a lock that he's the third wide receiver, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think you're on the right track with that, and he is proving to be up to the task, right? I mean, he's made leaps and bounds. Mm-hmm. And he was already pretty talented last year, obviously, but I think things have slowed down for him. There was the element of this offseason where he was working with a receiving coach to work on his catching and not catching against his body so much, all that sort of thing. And so I think there's just been a lot of trust built up between the Bengals and him asserting himself into a higher profile role. It was also pretty awesome, be it at the end of the game against maybe, roster scrub, seeing Burton light up the show as well. Yeah, he's awesome. And if you rewatch,
really good. Don't get me wrong.
If you rewatch I think it was the touchdown catch, it is kind of a go route up the sideline. There's about halfway through the route, he does one slight pause step, and it just fooled the corner. Yeah, and then it was just then there was the 2 yards of separation type of thing. So it's another good problem on the roster, and let's not forget about Trenton Irwin. I mean, Trenton Irwin, we had Aaron Schatz, who has been a well-respected national football writer and contributor for a long time on our show recently. And John and I didn't even bring up Trenton Irwin. It was he. He was like, "Hey, don't forget about this guy." Yeah, he's like, "Don't forget about this guy, man." I mean, he could play, and he comes up clutch when his number's called. And Jeff, I think you and I probably talked about this on one of your last shows. Go look back at what Irwin did against the Cardinals last year, and it was Chase had the touchdown grabs, and there were some other big plays on offense. But when they were kind of stalling at certain points, or they needed a clutch third down catch, it was Irwin who had like 80 some yards in that game. So, I again, good problem to have. The Bengals, whatever you want to say about the Bengals history in the 90s or whatever, they know how to draft wide receivers. They know how to groom wide receivers and bring in players that are talented at that spot. So I don't really have a ton of concerns at this point. Yes, I miss Tyler Boyd just because of the just
Consistency.
solid grinder that he was. But I think there are some young guys and other guys who've proven to be reliable that can fill some of the void.
Yeah, I've been saying this a lot because everybody keeps saying, this might be the last year for Trenton Irwin. I was like, I don't think so. I said, because like you just said, Trenton is reliable. He's where he's supposed to be. He knows every single route. Because he said this on my show before. He's like, I got to know every single route, where I'm supposed to be when that ball releases, where Joe wants me. All the stuff he's got, and he knows it, and he's there, and he's got the trust of Joe Burrow. You got the trust of Joe Burrow. That goes a long ways. And that's why I kept going back to Yoshi. That's why I kept saying Yoshi, and he was talking about Charlie Jones. If Joe Burrow is mentioning you in a press conference, that's a pretty good sign that you're doing something right, and he trusts you. So, yeah, Trenton Irwin, he's the glue. You need guys like this that can do. He's not great at really anything. He's just really, really good at everything, if that makes sense.
Yeah, he's a jack of all trades type of player. Yeah. And then, I think we all were ready to kind of start pushing Irwin out of the door last year with the drafting of Charlie Jones, right? We were kind of saying, there's the replacement, whether it was 23 or 24, there's the replacement. Well, Jones has shown some nice things here and there, but his career hasn't really gotten off the ground too much to this point. Irwin still gives you some punt return ability. He gives you that slot ability. And so, as you continue to work with and be patient with Charlie Jones, potentially, you've got Irwin there who's proven to be reliable. So work with it.
Exactly. I'm going to get to Dustin's question. He always brings up a good question here. He said, Podfather. That's a new one. Podfather. It's the Godfather. Mm-hmm. And Ice. Very concerned about Kappa. Down a year last year. First drive Saturday, he looked bad. Just want the Bengals to be bold with the roster moves and create competition at right guard. What's your thoughts? I'll let you go first.
Well, I think he's kind of the best option that they have for that spot right now. I was encouraged at the other guard spot, Volson, who was, I think he was top 5, top 6 of PFF scores on the team for the game, and granted limited snaps, but for a guy that we kind of said, is he the weak link potentially? On that offensive line, just because the Bengals, and I don't mean that as major disrespect on him. It's just the fact that the Bengals have made so many heavy investments in free agency on the offensive line, Kappa being one of them. So, that's just how it's shaped up right now. I think Kappa, Kappa has had some good games. He's had some games where you go, I don't know, maybe not worth so much that money, but I think he can be solid. I think he could be fine. And quite honestly, you're looking at the options here, right? You got Cody Ford, Jackson Kirkland, and then you got Cordell Volson. Really, you've got some other swing guys who are centers, right? Your what is it, Trey Hill?
They don't have anybody else.
Yeah,
I wish they had better depth on the interior line in general.
They just
for me.
And that goes back to their poor drafting in the middle rounds of a lot of those players, right? Your Michael Jordans and Billy Price, but I know he's a center. Yeah, Carmen. All these guys that could have maybe given you a little bit of something at guard here and there, and it never materialized. So that's why they've had to go the free agent route. And so I don't really see anyone pushing him out of that job, Kappa. I think he's okay. He had a little bit of a down year last year, but this offensive line doesn't need to be top 5, top 10, really. It needs to kind of be top third of the league in terms of performance, because you have an outstanding quarterback, and really all it is, it's not, it doesn't have to be dominant. It's just limit the hits, limit the sacks, just limit that a bit more than what we've seen from the past few years. We've seen a little bit here and there of some marked improvement, but you got to hope now. Orlando Brown in his second year with the team, Kappa now in a few years with the team, Karrison with a few years, Volson. So you're hoping now you've got a little more cohesion there. Yeah, you've got some fluidity at right tackle, but if you do go with Trent Brown on that other side, that's a guy who's played at a high level for a long time in the league. So, I think this is the best line that Burrow's had in his time in Cincinnati by far, and at least in name and star power across the line. But I think they do need to be within that top 12-ish. I think if they're in the top 12, top 14 in terms of overall performance, you look at all the major metrics and other facets of the offensive line. I think if they're in there, they'll be fine. They'll be fine. They got the weapons and they need to do it. But I will say this, and I know things are very vanilla. There was no Zach Moss. There does need to be some improvement in the run game.
Yes.
And, this pivot from Mixon, which I think a lot of people did think it was time. I see both sides of that coin there, but a lot of people saw that it was time to move on from Mixon and kind of go by a committee approach. Fine. But, it better work. And Chase Brown had a couple of nice runs early, but overall the run game did not net much in that first preseason game. And granted, it's week 1 and it's vanilla, et cetera, but you want to see a little bit more there.
Yeah. Two things there, as you said. The offensive line played last year, and this is crazy to say this, being Joe Burrow had a season-ending injury. Offensive line wasn't that bad last year, to be honest. I mean, it really wasn't. If you go back at it's about what you said. Middle third of the NFL, and like I said, that's all we really need. I actually think we're going to be better this year because Cordell Volson, I don't think he's going to go through the 4-game stretch that he went through last year at the beginning of the year. I think he's going to take off and look pretty good this year. Kappa, like I said, is it concerning? Yes. Can they do anything about it? No, because we haven't picked anybody else up. And like I said, it goes to them lack of being able to draft interior offensive linemen. Now, hopefully that's changing since they've gotten Mims this year, and 2 years ago or 3 years ago we got Cordell Volson. Hopefully things are changing there. Yes, the running game. I was one that I love Mixon, and I think he's going to have a really good year in Houston. But I think we need more explosive plays. And being down at practice, I've seen Chase Brown bust through these holes. And guys, it's only 2-hand touch, and guys aren't touching him. Now, I was listening to Tony Pike this morning on the radio here in Cincinnati. I haven't gone back and looked at this, but he's probably right. He says that Chase Brown missed a couple holes in the run game Saturday night, which that's not good. You can't miss a hole.
Yeah, John Sheeran on our post game pointed that out a little bit too, in terms of some of the decisions he had made after those first couple of runs. He had, I think, a nice 5-yard run and maybe a 6-yard run or something early, and then it just kind of didn't really go anywhere from there. But it's decision making. It's what are your eyes showing you, that sort of thing. I do want to go back up. I think it was Dustin. Is that our Bengals Army friend Dustin, or is that a different Dustin?
That's a different Dustin.
Okay. I didn't see the last name there. Oh, Dustin Croft. Yeah. So yes, right there. That's the comment I was looking at. My problem is interior pressure related. When you're going up against your Chris Joneses, your Justin Madubuike's, and guys that can kind of give you problems in the middle, that's an area of concern. The other area of concern for me, Dustin, is look, when you look at the names and the resumes of a lot of these players that the Bengals have on the offensive line are solid, right? Yeah. Orlando Brown, Super Bowl champion, multiple-time Pro Bowler. Same thing with Trent Brown. I mean, the list goes on and on. The problem is, aside from Amarius Mims, if you subscribe to RAS scores and how much of a metric that plays into offensive line performance, the rest of the guys score very poorly.
Right.
And so when you are going up against these players in the interior of the defensive line, they'll give you fits if they are hyper athletic, because the same traits aren't really there on the Bengals side. I think there's strength, I think there's size, I think there's overall talent. But in terms of the RAS, if there's a major shortcoming on the Bengals side in terms of who they're going up against, you're going to see it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That is concerning. The other concerning thing to me, the bigger concerning thing to me, is on the other side of the ball is stopping the run. Now, I know B.J. Hill didn't play and Sheldon Rankins didn't play. We had a hard time stopping the run last year with DJ Reader. Now he's gone, and I know we don't know what kind of DJ Reader we're going to get this year with the injury and everything. It's still a concern to me. And nothing Saturday night really made me feel any better. But like I said, we had people who didn't start. What's your thoughts on the stopping the run this year?
So when I initially watched the game, I was pretty concerned. I was pretty concerned about the defensive tackle performance, and I was pretty concerned about how Tampa ended up getting that winning score. That was a big guy, a physical guy that muscled his way into the end zone and just overpowered the defense. I think it was a Bell late in the game, ended up playing pretty well in the interior there.
53?
He had some,
I didn't know who he was.
nice
Like, who the hell is this guy?
yeah, he had a couple nice moments, and I know my guy Matt Minnick has kind of come to the defense of Chris Jenkins Jr. a little bit. There were a couple moments in that game where Chris Jenkins was kind of blown off of a play or two, and then some others where he recovered well and made a nice plays. But that's to be expected from a rookie, though, right? First NFL action a little bit. So I just, unfortunately, I feel like this is another risky by committee approach that they've taken, like they kind of did with the running back position. I think way more risky. And you're talking about, I said this on the post game show that we had, you're talking about 650 pounds and one guy's 6'3", one guy's 6'4" in terms of Josh Tupou and DJ Reader being gone off this roster. And that hurts you in the AFC North. It limits you in some ways. I mean, Reader was far more capable as a nose tackle than many others in the league, but it hurts you a little bit when you lose that kind of bulk in this division and against the run. And so, there may be some growing pains. We also didn't see Rankins in there, so I mean, there's you got to be fair on that. But he's known more for his pass rush ability than run stopping ability. So I don't know. I guess you got to hope for quite a bit of early maturity from McKinley Jackson when he is healthy. And
have you heard actually what's wrong with him? I still have not actually heard what his injury is.
I think it was a knee.
Is it?
Yeah, I can double check that. I think because
I've been looking at
sprained his knee, I think. I'll double check that for you.
Same thing like what Charlie Jones did, where they bump knees or whatever. So that's not awful, but yeah. But the thing is, he's one that, unfortunately, in the draft, I think they reached for, but still doesn't mean he can't play and he can't be productive for us. But that's the concerning thing for me. One thing that AC, I've said this, a good way to stop the run is to get out to fast starts and score more than the other team, and hopefully we can do that. And we've been on here for 33 minutes, and one person that we have not mentioned at all for being injured or playing good or anything that's Jackpot Joey, and he looked pretty damn
Joey
good.
B.
I think for the little drive we got to see him in, and he made it, and he's healthy. I mean, knock on wood, we're through week 1, and he's healthy. I mean, that dude can play right off the bat. I mean, that's going to solve a lot of problems. And all this stuff, all these other concerns we're talking about, having Joe Burrow as your quarterback is going to solve a lot. It'll help solve the run defense. It will. If you get a lead, they can't run the ball as much.
I think that Bengals fans should be, and I haven't been reading too much in terms of commentary on this from fans or on Twitter or something, but if I'm a Bengals fan, I am insanely encouraged in what I saw. And I'll tell you why. There were concerns going in. Number one, he's playing in preseason game 1 and played well. I know. That in itself, getting reps. It's a small victory in itself there. And then secondly, it looked like, the same kind of backyard style, kind of roaming around a little bit, trying to bide time, especially closer to the end zone, that sort of thing. And nice drive. Granted, it was probably against some twos, not starters all across the board there. But the one throw, and it was actually an incompletion that made it seem like, so any question you had about the arm strength or the wrist strength or anything like that, or if you thought, which you'd be crazy if you thought anything was going to be affecting his psyche and his approach to football.
Right.
That ball down the middle of the field, 40 some yards in the air, something like that. He placed it
right there.
I mean, it was a dot. It was an absolute dot. And that was my favorite throw, and it didn't even do anything. That was my favorite throw that he made.
Had a little pass interference, I think, but we'll
so
see.
that's where I was like, okay, I like what I'm seeing here. It's not a lot of check downs. It's not a lot of safe plays. He was going for it. And that is encouraging to me, very encouraging to me to see that. And you hope that, again, the Bengals can get off to a faster start than they did the last 2 years. They just
Absolutely.
have to.
That's a must. Now, we say that with going to Kansas City week 2. I'm not going to say that. I mean, I think we're going to start out 2-0, but there's a very good chance we could be 1-1. That's still not bad. If you're 1-1 and then you're by week 3 you're 2-1. That's still, to me, that's still getting off to a good start, and that's positive. Now, one thing, Paul Painter here says Jake looked pretty bad, and one thing, Jake Browning, he's entering a season this year where he doesn't have to really worry about his spot. And I'm not saying he's taking that for granted or anything, but I think he's actually working on stuff. That's what it looked like to me. He's trying more things than he would normally, because you don't want to look bad and go, oh man, well, we need to cut this guy. There's something wrong with him. I think he's trying to get to better himself, if that makes sense, with the opportunity he's getting for to just be a better quarterback, that he can take those chances now they couldn't before. Does that make sense, AC?
I do. Yeah. If it's jackpot Joey, then it's bootleg Browning, right?
There you go, bootleg Browning. I like it.
Yeah. I mean, the dude, when he comes off of those little, waggles or rollouts and all that kind of stuff, where he'll fake the handoff and loop back around the other way. It's usually a nice little play to the tight end or completion somewhere there, but. It's interesting you say that, because I just said, he almost looked a little bit like he was kind of goofing around out there.
Yeah, that's kind of
yes, and I mean that in a good way, not like, I'm not taking this seriously.
Right, not that he doesn't give a crap. He's just like, I'm going to try something, see if this works for future, playing.
And I think that comes with, that's a great point you brought up, and I haven't heard really anybody talk about it. I think that comes with the added comfortability of the team reinvesting in him this offseason and showing him that, like, hey, we're going to pay you like one of the best backups in the league. You did pretty well for us last year. Thank you. And so, there's not a number 2 competition at this point, right? So as there was last year when he was kind of the dark horse guy, right? And he beat out Simeon. And so now I think
was supposed to be the backup last year.
Yeah. And so now, I mean, that's a really interesting point. I think maybe it's not, hey, I'm not taking this seriously, but hey, I can play a little more loose right now, because and if I make an error in preseason, that's not going to be my job's in jeopardy. I mean, unless he's completely reckless and just falls apart.
Yeah, he can just throw the ball wherever he wants.
Right. But I saw a higher level of comfort in what he was trying to do than last year. Exactly. But the stat line wasn't that great for him though in this game, right? What was he, 10 of 18 or something?
Yeah, it wasn't a good stat line. I mean, I understand where Paul's saying he looked bad. I'm not saying he looked good. I'm just saying I think this is what he was doing. So Rebecca here's got a good point that she said, to me, seeing Joe spike the ball down when he was getting pressured was a good sign. There wasn't a penalty. The pressure just broke through. He got down quick, and that's kind of encouraging. And that's kind of what we've been saying too, because I mean, some of the stuff, some of these pressures and everything, and these hits that Joe takes, sometimes it's on him from just hanging on to the ball.
Oh yeah.
So so for him to spike the ball down and get out of harm's way, I'm encouraged by that. I want to see him do that more often, to be honest. Yeah.
It's, you got to just limit the hits, and you're right. Some of the plays, I know the ones where he had the season ending injury, one was on a sack against Washington. And then, the last year that was just a hit after a play, right?
And then when he vicious hit, he just got hit. And
he landed weird. Yeah, he landed weird. So that's, you just got to limit him. You got to limit him and limit any kind of freak circumstance. But it's such a hard line for probably him and the team to walk, where it's like, man, you also don't want him to not be who he has been, which is, let me run around, let me buy time, let me have guys slide off me, a little bit Ben Roethlisberger-esque in a way, and see who kind of ends up kind of shifting open and breaking through the coverage type of thing as things break down. So it's a fine line to walk, but, it's going to be partially on him to say, you know what, I just can't keep taking X amount of hits every single week. I can't do it.
I mean, I like that. I like that. I hate that comparison all at the same time. I was trying to sit there and think we always compare Joe to Peyton Manning or Tom Brady, but they didn't really move around the pocket like Joe does. But yeah, to Ben Roethlisberger, yeah. I mean, as far as he's not as big as Ben.
No, he's not as big, and he's not. Ben was slower, but
Right.
if you remember prime Ben,
Yeah,
you remember Ben. He would sit back there, and then he would roll out, and you would see some of the large defensive linemen on the Cincinnati Bengals just slide off his back, and you go, "What? What did he put on today?" Yeah, seriously.
What the hell? So yeah, that's a good comparison. But yeah, that's the thing. It is a fine line, and I think Joe is I won't say realizing that, but really trying to go to that line, but not step over it. You know, more so now than I think he has in the past. Because of what's happened. I mean, like you said, last year that hit was eye-opening to him because it wasn't a bad hit. He just got hit and he fell, and that can happen in any play in football. So that's where I think he's realizing I got to really limit the hits, and but he also, like I say, you don't want to take the aggressiveness away from him. So that's the fine line I think Joe and them the coaches are going to have to run this year.
Yeah, and I think with the changes that they are trying to implement or additions to the offensive side of the ball, what they're trying to do, no more Ben memories. What they're trying to do on offense and just kind of add to some of the stuff that we've seen over the past couple of years, just, diversify the offense a little bit. Hopefully that limits more hits there. But yeah, I mean, it's hard because, again, if you say, hey, Joe, you got to really dial this back, we got to keep you healthy, then do you miss out on plays like we saw against the 49ers where he got out of Bosa's grasp?
Right.
And so you go, man, like,
I know. It's how do you do it?
How do you balance that?
You don't want to take the aggressiveness away from Joe. You don't want him thinking about, oh crap, I can't do this. I might get hit. I might get hurt. You can't play football like that. You can't play it being scared to be hurt. So he's, I don't know how you do it. But Joe, I think Joe's going to do his damnedest to try to figure it out. And that's the hard thing is figure out when to go, when not to go, and yeah. So I
know when to hold them, know when to fold them.
Exactly. Right? I don't have the answers on how to do that. He just got to figure out how to do it. I think that's what they're working on. Another position that I was pleasantly surprised with, especially the play, was Dax Hill. I thought Dax looked pretty. Kind of what I've said in training camp. I thought he looked pretty good. As a cornerback, along with Newton. Newton got an interception there. What was your thoughts on Dax Hill's play as far as a cornerback goes?
I liked it, and obviously PFF liked it also. He was one of their, what is he, number 2 on the day, or number 1 maybe? I have to look back at the list. He was one of the top guys in terms of overall performance in the game. I guess I'm just still upset that the poor guy can't rake in an interception. You know what I mean? He's like, I remember at least 2 or 3 instances last year. Yeah, I mean, I remember one against the Browns. I remember the weird one against Jacksonville that ended up being a touchdown where he had his hands on the ball and you go, oh my God. And so this one, and it was hard. He was kind of diving for it, but it felt like he had. But hey, what do you have? 3 passes defended, right? I think his score was about 90 plus overall in PFF metrics. So it was encouraging. A lot of people are saying he looks like he feels more comfortable playing corner as opposed to safety. So I'll take it. And the Bengals have to figure out what they are going to do alignment wise. DJ Turner and Dijon Anthony and all these other players out there that Mike Hilton, obviously, what are they going to do? And how are they going to utilize him?
The rookie
Newton.
He looks. Yep. I went from I would be shocked if he makes his team to I think he might, to be honest.
Yeah, I think he makes it. I think they like him. And I think they've, they thought he was a smart player, mature, had good recognition skills. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if he's on the final roster.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all either. Let's go to the punter situation, which like I said, I think it's Brad Robbins' job to lose, to be honest. I don't really think either punter, both of them had bombs and both of them had ones that didn't do very good. So I don't think either one of them distinguished themselves as the lead dog. Where are you at on that?
Well, the incumbent probably has the favorable shot at this point. And like you said, there wasn't much to move the needle either way. Rico's got a big leg, but can you rein it in so that he's not just giving it to the other team at the 20 every time? You got to be able to rein that in. And it's weird. They almost have appearances of respective opposite strengths, right? Robbins has that touch and be able to kind of pin guys, but he also has a little bit of a weaker leg, it would seem, to Rico, who maybe doesn't have quite as much touch that Robbins has. So I don't think there was much movement on, where that stands with it position wise, favorite, all that sort of thing. I do think Robbins is probably the favorite guy right now, but I don't know by how much.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at now. People have been blowing up the chat about orange pants, and apparently 15 minutes ago, the Bengals, if you guys can see this, come out and they got orange pants this year. I just happened while we were on the air here, so because Josh from Houday Nation, he made a tweet about it that Madden had orange pants, and I'm like, do they know something we don't know? So apparently they do. We got orange pants this year. Looks pretty cool. AC, this is one of the uniform. I want the one of the orange pants, but I want the all orange. I want the all orange look sometime. I don't know. People think I'm crazy, but I think it would look cool.
The all orange.
The all orange, yes.
Yeah, it could. It could. I got to see these things, in person type of thing to see, or on TV to really see. I mean, the picture they gave was intentionally funny.
It looked like the jersey review the first time. I'm like, the first time I saw the jersey, I went on.
It's like jersey on Temu or something, or
exactly.
Wish.
I love the jerseys. They look awesome. So.
Yeah, I don't know that they'd go. Well, I mean, they did all orange in the last jersey iteration, right? They did kind of alternate all orange.
Yeah, but these pants are solid orange. So there's gonna be a lot more. Yes, they did, but it doesn't have. It's not got the big panel down the side. It's got the stripes. So
yeah,
yeah.
I'm trying. Yeah, I mean, I think those would probably look, just in my mind's eye right now, probably look the best with the black jersey.
They look badass with the black jersey. I've been wearing the orange pants for a long time. I guarantee you, they're gonna do one with the black jersey and the orange pants. I guarantee that's gonna be one of them. I hope the all orange is one of them, but we'll see. Because we can have we've had the white out, we've had the stripe jungle. Hell, what about an all orange?
It's so funny when I was a kid watching the old Bengals stuff, and the old the old pumpkin head with the Bengals lettering. I'm like, man, those are so lame. And now I'm like, bring those back. Bring them back for a game. Bring them back for a game.
I'm the same way. I did not like those when I was a kid. I freaked out when we got the stripes. I'm like, the stripes are so cool. But the older I get, at least for one game, just bring them back.
It's better looking than remember the. Oh God, was it the Steelers one that was like brown and the Bumblebees and the Packers was or Jets or something was the brown and blue or oh my God,
some of them they look horrible. Yeah, some of these I like. So speaking of the Bumblebee one, my son, I think I've told you this. My son played travel hockey, so unfortunately we go to Pittsburgh a lot for hockey. And one time we're at one of his games, and this dude's he's obviously Steelers fan, wearing the Bumblebee jersey. And I told him, I said, dude, honestly, I said, we had a good conversation, talking hockey the whole time. I said, full disclosure, I'm a Bengals fan. He goes, well, I figured that you're from Cincinnati. I said, and I'm not really trying to start anything with you, but for God's sakes, that is the ugliest freaking jersey I've ever seen in my life. And he's like, I know it is, but we love it. I'm like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Well, as long as you like it, it looks like crap to me.
Yeah.
It's just not a good look. They look like a damn yellow jacket or something. I just don't get it. Tony says the black. This would be cool too. A black helmet with orange stripes. They can only do one version of the helmet. I think that's right. Because I had Emily Parker on here, and they could do the white helmet, and they can only do one
alternate helmet.
Thank you. That's where one alternate helmet. So they can't do that.
I think that's right.
Yeah. So eventually they might, but if they do that, I mean, is everybody willing to not have the all white uniform? Because that's what everybody freaks out about. Is having the all white helmets and everything. So, all right, AC, we got the Bears coming up here. First road game. Do you think Caleb Williams is gonna play a lot? I'm excited to see him. I want to see Caleb Williams.
He won't play a lot, I don't think. I mean, he got a few snaps in the opener there and looked decent from what I understand. I don't think he's going to play a ton. You know, they want to give him some time and get acclimated, but it's the same kind of thing. You got to be careful. You can't be stupid and reckless with your number 1 overall pick. And so I think, I think he, you might see a little bit of him. I don't think any more than a quarter. And then, you'll probably see the rest there. But Bears are an interesting team. Obviously, they've really rebuilt. I think they had a late surge last year of, they weren't very good. And then they kind of put things together towards the end of the year. And now they're a team in change here. They drafted some interesting players. So it'll be a fun one to watch. I think it's more now, what do the Bengals starters do? Can they maybe get some things going on the ground a little bit more? And, obviously now you're looking at some players towards the back end of the depth chart in the roster to see who can sneak on, right? Who can sneak on. And we didn't mention his name, but Mayema Jongmeta, the linebacker. Yeah, I know. I think he might've been the top ranked guy in PFF points this week. And then it was Dax as number 2. If I should probably have that up in front of me. I'm sorry. I keep kind of saying, I think it's this.
I say it all the time. I'm not smart enough to be able to bring up other stuff. I'll put it this way. I'm too nervous to do it while I'm running the show because I'm afraid I'm going to knock the freaking show off the channel. I bring up other stuff because I've done stupid crap like that before, so I don't bring anything up.
I've done it. I know that. Yeah, I mean, I think, that's a guy. I think if we're talking about guys who have really made a strong statement early on to potentially sneak onto the roster, that's a guy I was pretty impressed with last week.
Mm-hmm. Now, this is good. Tomorrow's gonna be the last practice down there at Paycor, or Kettering Health Practice Facility, however you want to put it. So they're going on a road trip. And it sounds like Zach's got some bonding stuff for the guys to do. They're going to be out doing different things, obviously practicing against the Bears. Are you a fan of the joint practices? I mean, I am. I think, because honestly, AC, I think eventually they're going to get rid of all the preseason games and we're going to have joint practices. I think that's the way it's going to go. But what's your thoughts about the joint practices?
You're talking about obviously joint practices with another team coming in and kind of doing an inter squad scrimmage thing or something. Yeah. I mean, it's good in a lot of ways. It's good in a lot of ways, but it just always seems to be there's some stupid fight that always breaks out inevitably.
Oh, Bengals fighting each other last week, so
yeah. But I mean, I go back to the Rams with Aaron Donald. Remember, he was swinging helmets and all kinds of.
I was on the bridge. I saw him swinging the helmet. I'm like, "What are you?" I was ready to jump down there. Well, I wouldn't have been able to do anything, but I was yelling at him. I was yelling at him very profusely from the bridge.
There you go. But yeah, so I think there's useful aspects to it, and you may be onto something here. That may be the way the NFL's going in lieu of preseason games, particularly if they add another game in the regular season and all that kind of stuff, which is kind of been a topic of conversation.
Yeah, they'll have more games to get rid of. That's just me. I think it might be one preseason game or something. That's just the way I think it's going to eventually going to go, but we'll see what happens. But anyway, we got the Bears this week. I'm excited. We're getting closer to the regular season. AC, as always, I appreciate you, man. Do your favorite, plug some stuff that you and John or Cincy Jungle or the Believe In Network or all the other many things that you guys are got going on. Please plug some stuff for me.
Appreciate that. Yeah, cincyjungle.com for the writing stuff. You can also get our show, The Orange and Black Insider, the streams and all that kind of stuff are on cincyjungle.com. We have a YouTube channel, and we are with a group of shows. We are part of the Believe in Cincy podcast channel. So that's pretty cool. And we need people to resubscribe to our channel. We had a pretty decent following, and then we have a new RSS feed for it. So we had to kind of start over from scratch with the move over to Believe, unfortunately. But if you were a previous listener of the show and did the audio side, if you could do that for us, that would be awesome. But I appreciate you having me on, man. I'm sorry to hear about I think I've kind of heard through the grapevine and a little bit before I came on some of the pet stuff that you've been going through, man. I'm with you. That's obviously the worst part of owning a great pet. You're almost guaranteed to outlive them, and that sucks. So my heart goes out to you. It's not easy, but hang in there, dude.
Yeah, my daughter. It's technically my daughter's cat. I mean, it's our family cat, but we always said it was her. If she moves out, she's taking Rosie with her. Well, she's going to move out eventually, but yeah, we've see my daughter is 20 now. We got Rosie when she was in 2nd grade, so yeah, was the longest. She outlived 2 of my dogs. So Rosie's been around for a long time. So that one hurt. That's why I left the Bengals game early to go be with them. She didn't pass away until yesterday. But again, shout out to Meow Meow. He has taken care of us as far as putting her to rest. So. I highly recommend checking him out for any of your pet needs for sure. But yeah, we went from a house with 2 cats and a dog to we got 1 cat. That's all I got now.
Wow.
So.
Yeah, bummer, man. But hang in there. We're thinking about you, and appreciate you inviting me on. I don't know if I was graced enough to take captain's seat or Corey's seat today or whatever, but I'm just
all the
flattered
above.
to be.
They both. I thought Cap was going to jump on. He was trying. He's down at the Reds game for Bark in the Park, so he's got his two dogs down there. And then Corey just said he's out of town, so I don't know. Not sure what Corey's doing. Maybe he's going to fly here and he might be sneaking up on behind.
Yeah,
I don't know.
He's going to come up and say hey.
Exactly. That's going to happen. Anyway, AC dude, I appreciate you, man. Go follow the Godfather. He's awesome.
Thanks, man. Take care.
See you, dude. Later. All right, guys. As always, I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. AC is awesome. John Sharon is awesome. Go check out them. Go find their new YouTube channel from the Cincy, or Believe in Cincy network. So go find that out. As always, thanks for watching. I've been live streaming on ZTV, Facebook, X, YouTube, Twitch. You can follow me on all of those, along with Instagram, Threads, and TikTok. And we're getting closer and closer. 1, to it happening. 2, to be able to actually make the whole official announcement. But for the first regular season game of the season, and each and every home game after that, we will be pregame tailgating at the Moorline Lager House. There is going to be a price point involved, but it is going to be well worth it because you're going to get a buffet of food from Moorline Lager House. Get all the beer you want, the access to their bourbon room. It's going to be an awesome, awesome time. We're going to have a DJ there. We're going to have former Bengal players. Bengals captain's going to be there from time to time. I know Corey Dillon's going to show up from time to time. It's going to be an absolute blast. Trust me. And then join us every Tuesday night. I will be doing my live podcast from there each and every Tuesday night during the season. Again, this will be the one where Corey Dillon and Cap are going to be on there with me. So please make sure you guys check us out. And between now and then, go check out Moorline Lager House. They are delicious, delicious food. And tell them Jay I sent you. And as always, if you're looking for some chicken wings and you have not checked out Midwest's Best Barbecue, why the hell not? Get out there off I-275, Ward's Corner Avenue exit. They're right there. You can get you some delicious Dillinator wings, some G-Funk, some Uno, some CTB wings, and they also have ribs every 3rd Saturday, if I think I'm saying that right. It is delicious. Tell Tim Nicole Ice sent you. Again, that's Midwest's Best Barbecue. And guys, you're in the market for windows and doors, please do me a favor. Check out Meyer Windows and Doors and more at www.meyercincinnati.com for all your window and door needs. I have them in my house. You should get them in yours. Again, that's Meyer Window and Doors at www.meyercincinnati.com. My West Side peeps, go check out Hail Mary's. Your ticket to the game. They got big-ass TV screen, free parking, beer specials, food trucks there. It is an awesome, awesome place right in the middle of Cheviot. Go there. Enjoy some beer. Enjoy some food from the food trucks. Watch TV on their big TV screen. Go enjoy some sporting events there. It is awesome. Hail Marys, your ticket to the game. All right, guys, I appreciate each and every one of you. I don't know who's going to be on tomorrow. I got a lot of people I'm reaching out to, but I'm going to have a show tomorrow. We're going to figure out who it is. Lots of guys that, I'm friends with the beat writers, but a lot of them are busy now, so I'm trying to figure out how to get them on. That's why Richard was on Friday morning. Now, for those of you who missed the beginning of the show, because it kind of threw me off because it wouldn't let me stream to Twitter, which I got to figure out what's going on there. If you did notice, I do have a new intro to the show. Shout out to YB Assad. His new Bengals song Revenge Tour is on. Make sure you go check it out. I think it's on Apple iMovies or iTunes. I'll get it right. Go check it out. Anyway, it's my outro music. but it's awesome. And remember, they got to play us. And that's just sports, baby. See ya!
They still gotta play us. Let's go, baby. Woo!
Don't run that ball on the one Hubbard, showed you how that go down. Feeling like Santino, tell him we want all the smoke now. We ain't snooping that commercial, we don't put no smoke down. Plus we back and you can't hide, so it ain't nowhere safe to go now. We always gon' turn up in that jungle every time. How we ain't gon' win when we loaded in with 9? Plus T just came in signed, so the city gon' be fine. Jamar say he open every time and he ain't never lied. Look at how we win at it, the size of the old line. Giving Burrow extra time should be a federal crime. Hey, we right back on that path again. Put the division back to the test, they won't pass again. Orlando and Trent Brown, that's the Tower Twins. Feel like we only getting better as we stacking wins. Jaceki in for 6, that's a gritty again. AFC North battles getting gritty again. It's Yoshi's second year and we just brought Burton in. Vaughn back to ring some bells, get the cracking again.